Okay, let's dive in. Today, we're exploring a source that really touches on themes many of us navigate throughout life.
Mm-hmm.
Things like the often messy process of letting go, adapting to unexpected turns, and finding strength within ourselves when, the ground feels a bit shaky.
Yeah, and our source for this deep dive comes from excerpts of a book, Nenge Mutnui Rozam Mutnu, which translates roughly to The Day Someone Leaves Someone.
Right.
And these excerpts by Heidi Priebe were shared in a YouTube video. They offer a really personal look at some pretty universal experiences.
And the author is super open about where the book came from. She says it was basically born from heartbreak,
Yeah.
compiled from her writings during what she calls her most tumultuous years.
Right, post-college life.
Exactly. We're
Right.
talking about that raw experience navigating post-college, changing jobs, falling in love,
And the heartbreak.
then the inevitable pain of heartbreak, and just that fundamental challenge of figuring out how to move forward from all that stuff.
So our mission today really is to unpack the core ideas in these excerpts.
Okay.
We want to explore what this source means by letting go, how we understand and value our own worth,
Self-worth. Yeah.
the nature of genuine connection, how it challenges that common idea of right person, wrong time,
Oh, that's a big one.
and maybe the most powerful idea, becoming the person you're actually waiting for.
Okay, let's start with that journey then, the letting go part. The source kicks off reflecting on why so many books, including Priebe's own, get written right after heartbreak.
Mm-hmm. It's that human impulse, isn't it?
Totally. When we lose something big, especially love, we try to piece it back together.
Dwelling on memories.
Yeah, dissecting mistakes, clinging to hope, or just old habits, often just trying to recover something that's gone.
But what's really insightful here is the author's own realization while she was writing through that pain.
What was that?
She realized that real messy pain, it isn't inherently beautiful. And trying to make it beautiful, romanticizing suffering,
Yeah.
that can actually be a sneaky way we give ourselves permission to hold on to the pain longer than we need to.
Right, because we've assigned it some kind of, like, artistic value or something.
Exactly. Like finding a purpose for the pain becomes an excuse not to move past it.
That makes sense. So the core message she landed on is about overcoming that pain, even when part of you really wants to cling to it.
Yeah, and finding a way to embrace a future you might feel totally unprepared for or even resistant to.
It's about accepting the hand life deals you, isn't it? Even if it's not the one you wanted.
Right, and learning how to play that hand as best you can, it takes a kind of fierce acceptance.
And the source is clear. This isn't just about letting go of one person. It involves shedding other layers, too.
Like what?
Well, the book lists things like expectations we held, self-hatred we might carry, those idealized versions of ourselves we cling to,
Mm.
old emotional traumas we thought were permanent, and, yeah, the love we were so sure would never end.
And it stresses that letting go isn't like a single event. You don't just flip a switch. It's tumultuous, often a lifelong process, really. It happens in countless little moments.
Beginnings, endings.
Good times, bad times, moments of welcome, moments when doors just slam shut. It's this continuous effort of releasing.
So it's not framed as a how-to guide, like a 3-step plan to get over it.
No, much more like a companion. The author admits, look, nobody else can do the work for you,
Right.
but we all need someone or something alongside us on that journey. It's tough.
Okay, so shifting from that big picture of letting go, the source gets way more intimate. There's this section titled, "Read This If No One Texts You in the Morning."
Yeah, that one hits home for a lot of people, I think.
It starts by acknowledging that feeling of maybe not being okay, even if you're telling everyone you are,
Mm-hmm.
and how sometimes that feeling gets triggered by something seemingly small, like waking up in silence on your phone.
And the source digs into why that seemingly trivial thing can feel like such a gut punch.
Why?
It's not just about the text itself, right? These little communications, they act as signals
Signals
that you were remembered first thing, that someone cares, that you're loved. They're reminders that you're valued, thought of, that you exist in someone else's mind.
That's a really honest point.
Yeah.
Because ideally, maybe our self-worth shouldn't hinge on that stuff.
But we're human. We crave connection, validation, and sometimes, yeah, we forget our own inherent worth when those external signals aren't there.
So the message is kind of twofold.
Yeah.
Empathetic, but also empowering.
How so?
Like, if you didn't get that text, it doesn't diminish your worth one bit. You still deserve a happy day.
Absolutely. Everyone you included deserves happiness and a great day, completely independent of whether someone happens to think of them when they wake up.
And then the source paints this really detailed, almost poetic picture of you, the listener.
Yeah, get specific.
All the unique, lovely traits that make you you, like the smile that could light up a room, the way your head tilts when you're concentrating.
The soft sigh when you sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your intricate self made up of all these lovely complexities.
And the crucial point it makes is none of those intricate, lovely parts of you have just vanished.
Right. They don't disappear just because someone stopped loving you or isn't there, or maybe just doesn't appreciate all those complexities.
It kind of pushes back against that idea that we shouldn't need external validation. It acknowledges, hey, sometimes we do forget.
We forget we're lovable, that we're sought after, that we're more than just the tough face maybe life has forced us to put on.
It's like a call not to let that forgetfulness become a loss of self. Your true essence, those specific things like biting your pencil,
Huh.
or your quiet confidence, the spark in your eyes, all those little quirks, they haven't gone out just because someone else didn't see them, or worse, didn't like them.
So this part really urges you.
Mhm.
Don't let those who might be broken themselves or just unable to see you clearly, don't let them put out your inner fire.
Don't let them reduce you to an ember.
Exactly. You hold the power to decide your life's direction. Illuminate your own path, even if you have to walk it alone for a bit.
Choose to have a great day for yourself. Find your own fire again, because the world actually needs the light you radiate.
So the takeaway isn't really just about texts, is it? It's about, like, radical self-acceptance.
Totally. You are so much more than any external validation or lack of it. You're vast, strong, inherently valuable, no matter who is or isn't thinking of you.
Okay, building on that idea of connecting. The source includes a section that's framed like a direct message.
Oh, yeah, the vulnerable one.
Like,
I'm sending this message to you because I like you.
that opening is just so disarmingly honest, especially because right after, the author admits she wanted to play games.
Right. Pretend not to care.
But she cuts through that impulse immediately, calls it crazy and useless. It's like a total rejection of those performative dating rituals.
And the reasons she gives for liking the person are so specific and relatable.
Like what?
Thinking of him when she feels restless listening to bad pop music, wanting to run even though she hates running. Imagining being together in small ways, and just that simple, nerve-wracking wonder, does he know I like him?
What really shines through there is the value placed on genuine connection. Mental, emotional connection.
Yeah, the joy of conversations that last for hours where you lose track of time.
Getting kicked out of the coffee shop.
Exactly. Or the fascination with his eyes lighting up at new ideas, the fact that talking to him is never boring. She calls his mind an infinite library.
Oh.
And there's that really vivid detail. Seeing his name pop up on her phone makes her forget all the petty annoyances of a bad day.
Like the messed up lunch order.
The bad meeting, friends canceling, poof, gone. It shifts her perspective instantly to what feels bigger, more important.
And there's a clear frustration there, too, with how we communicate now.
Our generation has reduced interaction to superficial texts, something like that.
Yeah, a real weariness with playing those old, meaningless games that just hide how you really feel.
So the desire expressed is just direct,
Yeah.
powerful. She wants to send the message because she wants to connect authentically.
She wants him there.
Truly present, with his thoughts, his attention, phone down, focused on the connection. It's really a plea for depth over just game playing.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. It challenges that classic lament.
The right person, wrong time.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We've all heard it, maybe said it. The source acknowledges that meeting someone great just before they leave, getting close to someone already taken.
Relationships ending because timelines just don't mesh.
Time itself feels like the enemy, the third wheel.
But then the source hits you with this powerful, counterintuitive argument. It flips the whole script.
Which is?
You never, ever meet the right person at the wrong time.
Never. Why?
The reasoning is actually pretty simple, but profound. If they are genuinely the right person for you, the timing becomes irrelevant.
So anytime you meet them is the right time.
That's the argument. The source describes how this feels. You won't hesitate. You'll feel this immediate pull to just discard other plans.
Move forward with them, even if it's uncertain.
Yeah, without second guessing. You won't be left wondering. You'll just know you want to be with them, regardless of the circumstances.
It uses some specific examples from the source, right?
Like any other adventure you thought you wanted suddenly won't seem as compelling.
Whatever you were chasing before, this connection feels better, more significant.
And the right person, according to this view, fundamentally changes how you see time.
How so?
It stops being this rigid thing you have to squeeze them into. It becomes fluid. They don't just fit into your life, they become a central part of it.
Your shared happiness becomes the priority.
Right, such a high priority that external timing stuff feels solvable, not like these insurmountable barriers.
And the source also highlights that the right person doesn't hold you back.
No, they encourage your growth, inspire you to work harder, dream bigger, be better.
They don't limit you. They want to tackle challenges with you.
So with them, your sense of time, your potential feels limitless.
So the implication is pretty stark then.
Yeah, if you felt you missed out on someone because of wrong timing.
The source basically suggests it means you weren't truly inspired or willing enough to make the time and space for them.
Oof, that's blunt.
It is.
Yeah.
It says life won't hand you some perfect magical moment, but you will meet someone who makes the whole concept of timing irrelevant.
Because they inspire you so deeply, you change your life to make room.
Exactly. And in that case, any time you meet is the right time.
Wow. Okay. Finally, the source takes us to this really transformative idea. It starts with the thought experiment.
The big one. What if you knew for absolute certain, starting right now, you would never find true romantic love?
Yeah. Just sit with that for a second.
It acknowledges the immediate sadness, maybe fear that brings up. It's so ingrained in us, that desire for a partner.
Companionship, closeness, support, someone to share everything with. That desire is powerful.
And the source points out something maybe a bit uncomfortable.
What's that?
How the hope of finding romantic love subtly influences so much of what we do. Our decisions, how we feel about ourselves.
Why you buy certain clothes, maybe. Your confidence levels, how you imagine your future. It's all tied up in it often.
And here's the really challenging bit it raises.
The crutch idea.
Yeah. That comforting thought that someone will love us despite our flaws. Paradoxically, it can become a sort of crutch.
An unconscious reason not to work on those flaws or improve ourselves.
And the idea of needing a second half to be whole might actually stop us from becoming a better whole person on our own.
We often hope someone will rescue us, right? But what if that external rescue just isn't coming?
So that hypothetical, knowing you won't find romantic love, it forces a reevaluation, doesn't it?
Definitely. How would you deliberately build a fulfilling life if that wasn't on the table? Where would your focus go?
Career,
Yeah.
other passions,
And it makes a crucial point about our other relationships.
family, friends.
Exactly. The source suggests without that focus on romance, those bonds might naturally become paramount. Would you invest more deeply in family, who often love unconditionally?
Nurture friendships more intentionally.
Spend more time with those who love you selflessly. Share life more deeply with them.
And the source reframes this potential reality, never finding romantic love, not as a tragedy.
But as a potential great liberation.
Liberation, how?
It opens up freedoms you might not even consider when you're worried about being alone or needing to compromise for a partner.
Like living anywhere.
Dedicating yourself entirely to a passion. Going back to school without thinking about shared finances or someone else's timeline.
So the idea is that the search for love, or needing it, might actually limit us without us realizing.
Yeah, removing that focus could let us spread our wings more fully, pursue our own path more authentically.
Which brings us to the ultimate message here, and it feels like a culmination of
The
everything.
big one. If you're no longer focused on seeking romantic love from someone else,
You're finally free.
to direct that love, that dedication, that focus inward, you are free to become your own true love.
Become your own true love. What does that actually mean, though?
The source explains it as consciously choosing to dedicate your life to developing yourself, challenging yourself, indulging your own needs, striving to become outstanding, impactful for your own sake.
So cultivating the qualities you might look for in a partner, but within yourself.
Exactly. Becoming your own soulmate, your own anchor.
The key takeaway, then, is incredibly clear. Actionable, even.
Stop waiting.
Stop waiting for someone else to show up and change or complete your life. Instead.
Be the person you are waiting for. Be your own true love.
And the source backs this up with a simple truth. You are the only person guaranteed to be there for yourself. Through everything.
Every high, every low, every pain, every joy.
You'll be the one getting your own awards, holding your own hand when you're hurting, lifting yourself up when you fall.
And the source asks, isn't that exactly what we hope for from true love? That deep presence, that unwavering support.
Maybe we should value most what we can actually provide for ourselves.
And then there's that intriguing paradox it mentions at the end. Right. You're often most magnetic, most attractive, most yourself.
when you're not trying to be.
When you're not focused on attracting others, not seeking that external validation, when you just live confidently, freely, unbound, that energy is transformative.
For your own life and for the connections you do make.
Absolutely. So the ultimate call to action from this whole exploration is powerful.
Stop searching for someone else to promise you till the end.
Make that promise to yourself. Become that unwavering partner for yourself.
Amen.
Living fully as that person, just let others find you.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does all this mean for you listening? We've taken this deep dive into navigating, letting go, recognizing its ongoing crucial work.
We've explored understanding self-worth, not by who texts you, but by anchoring it inside yourself, in your inherent value.
We looked at valuing genuine, vulnerable connection over playing superficial games, and we really challenged that right person, wrong time myth.
Realizing the right person makes you make time.
And finally, we landed on this really profound, liberating idea. Becoming your own true love. Finding radical self-acceptance. Becoming your own anchor.
Yeah, this source material is a strong reminder that while letting go is tough, maybe lifelong, there's immense power within us.
Untapped power.
Power to see our own worth, to value real connection with ourselves too, and to get that fulfillment isn't finding the one, but becoming the one for ourselves.
Right. So here's where it gets really interesting, the final thought. If, as this source powerfully suggests, the most magnetic, most fulfilled version of you is the one who isn't looking outside for validation, but is just confidently living as their authentic, self-sufficient self. What's one small step, just one you could take today, to lean into being that person, rather than just waiting or searching for them?
Something to mull over until our next deep dive.